we'll explore some fascinating psychological tricks designed to calm your mind and ease you into a peaceful sleep. As you get comfortable, let your thoughts fade away and just listen. No pressure, no expectations. We're going to dive deep into the subtle, quiet power of the mind, learning how small psychological insights can shape our world in ways you might never have noticed before. With every word, you'll drift a little deeper, more relaxed, more at ease, until the thoughts and stress of the day gently melt away. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's begin this peaceful exploration into the psychology of influence, all while you slowly fade into sleep. The power of silence, how pauses in conversation can make you appear more powerful and influential. There's something remarkably calming about silence. When it fills a room, it shifts the energy, making everything feel more profound. It holds power in ways words cannot. Imagine a conversation unfolding, a moment of tension, and then, suddenly, a pause. Not just any pause, but a deliberate, well-timed silence. It lingers like the calm before the storm. The other person begins to feel it too, the anticipation, the curiosity, the pressure to fill that space. In that moment, you hold the floor. You've mastered the art of silence. It's fascinating how silence can speak louder than words. It carries a weight that few people recognize. The pause in conversation allows you to control the rhythm of the exchange. You're not just speaking, you're creating space for the other person to absorb your words, to process what has been said. It's as though you're not just conveying information, but allowing the listener to digest it in their own time. And in that pause, you appear calm, collected, and in control, qualities that make you seem more powerful. Consider how silence impacts our perception of others. The person who speaks too quickly, constantly filling every gap with words, often appears nervous or insecure. There's a rush, an eagerness to make an impression, but someone who uses silence strategically gives the impression of someone who is composed and thoughtful. They're not in a hurry, they don't feel the need to explain everything, to rush through their thoughts. Instead, they allow the words to settle, like stones dropping into a deep pool, each one creating ripples that linger. When you pause, you create space, not just for your own thoughts, but for others to reflect, to feel the weight of your words. This isn't just about waiting for someone else to speak. It's about giving time for the conversation to breathe, to grow organically. It allows the other person to step into the silence, to feel its weight, and in doing so, they feel as though they are sharing the moment with you. The pause becomes an unspoken invitation for them to open up, to say more, to reveal more. You've just made them feel heard, without saying a word. This power of silence can be a deeply influential tool. In negotiation, for example, a well-timed silence can shift the balance of power. After making an offer, remaining quiet forces the other party to respond. They might feel pressured to speak, to offer something in return, but you remain still, holding your position with that subtle, commanding silence. It's a signal that you're not desperate, that you're not in a rush to make a deal. You're confident enough to let the silence stretch, to allow them to step into it, and to bring their next move forward. In social interactions, silence can be equally potent. Think about a moment when someone's words have left you speechless. It's in those moments of silence that we often feel most vulnerable, most exposed. The silence between two people, after a meaningful statement, can be charged with energy, more so than the words themselves. It's in these pauses that we assess the depth of the conversation, the weight of the ideas shared. The person who knows how to hold silence becomes the center of this energy, drawing the attention, the focus of everyone in the room. Silence is also a sign of emotional control. In a heated exchange, when voices rise and tempers flare, the person who can remain silent exudes a sense of inner peace and strength. They don't react impulsively, they don't feed the fire with more fuel. Instead, they allow the conversation to unfold naturally, letting the intensity of the moment pass, without feeling the need to contribute to it. And in doing so, they gain the respect of those around them. The silence becomes a shield, protecting them from unnecessary conflict while also establishing their emotional fortitude. The beauty of silence lies in its simplicity. You don't need to complicate your words or add unnecessary embellishments to make an impact. Silence itself is powerful enough to communicate strength, presence, and influence. It's in those quiet moments that you reveal the most about your character, your confidence, and your ability to command a space without raising your voice. Have you ever noticed how a great speaker uses pauses to their advantage? They don't rush through their message. Instead, they let certain words hang in the air, letting their meanings sink in. They punctuate their sentences with pauses, creating an ebb and flow in the conversation. These pauses give their words weight, making them feel more significant. It's almost as if the silence itself amplifies the message, allowing the listener to connect more deeply with what is being said. The pauses make the message linger, creating a rhythm that the listener can follow and feel. In leadership, silence is often the mark of authority. The leader who speaks with purpose, who uses silence to punctuate their ideas, commands respect. They don't feel the need to fill every moment with words. Instead, they choose when to speak, when to pause, and when to allow the conversation to settle. Their silence is not awkward, it's deliberate, calculated, and powerful. It draws others in, compelling them to listen more carefully, to hang on every word. As you explore the power of silence in conversation, think about the influence you can have in your own interactions. How can you use pauses to your advantage? How can you embrace the silence instead of rushing to fill it with words? Every conversation is an opportunity to experiment with this subtle yet powerful technique. By becoming comfortable with silence, you can transform your interactions, appearing more thoughtful, more composed, and more influential in every exchange. Sometimes, the most powerful message you can convey is the one that is left unsaid. The silence after a statement can often be more impactful than the statement itself. It gives room for reflection, for interpretation. It allows the listener to absorb the meaning of your words on a deeper level. And in that pause, you can control the flow of the conversation, guiding it without ever needing to speak. Silence also carries with it a sense of mystery. It invites curiosity. When you remain silent, others may wonder what you're thinking, what you're feeling. This intrigue can work in your favor, drawing others to you, making them want to engage with you, to discover what lies behind the quiet exterior. In this way, silence can act as a magnet, attracting attention and creating a sense of allure. The power of silence extends beyond conversations. It influences how we experience our world. When we pause, we open ourselves to deeper reflection. We allow ourselves to feel the present moment, to experience the world with all its richness and complexity. Silence offers us the space to be fully aware, to connect with ourselves and with others in a way that words alone cannot achieve. As you reflect on the role of silence in your own life, consider the moments where you have used it effectively. Perhaps it was a pause in a conversation that made your words more impactful, or maybe it was the calm after a tense moment that gave you control of the situation. These moments are not mere coincidences. They are reflections of the power you hold when you choose silence. In the end, silence is not an absence of sound, but a presence in itself. It is the space between words that gives them meaning. It is the pause that allows you to command attention, to draw others in, and to create a deeper connection. The more you embrace silence, the more you will realize its true potential. It is not something to fear or avoid, but something to wield with grace and confidence. Silence is not just an absence of noise, it is a tool of immense power, waiting for you to discover its full potential. The halo effect: how first impressions shape the way we see people, and how to use this to your advantage. There's a subtle, invisible force at play the moment we meet someone new. It's almost like a light that casts a glow over everything we perceive about them, shaping our entire understanding of who they are in an instant. It's the halo effect, an invisible filter that colors our judgment, often without us realizing it. The moment we make our first impression, something remarkable happens. The way we see a person from that moment onward is deeply influenced by how we feel about them at first glance. This phenomenon happens automatically, quietly, and often dictates how we treat others, how we interpret their actions, and how they come to be seen in our eyes. This powerful psychological trick is fascinating. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. Maybe it's their smile, their posture, or the way they speak that catches your attention. Something so simple, yet so impactful. This initial trait, whatever it may be, then creates a halo that surrounds their entire being. In your mind, that one positive aspect makes them seem more competent, more likable, and perhaps even more attractive. Their behavior, their actions, are all automatically judged through this glow. It's as though the first impression alone forms an invisible lens that alters everything that follows. What's truly remarkable is that the halo effect works both ways. If that first impression is negative, the same rule applies, but in reverse. A single flaw, a slip of the tongue, or a moment of ungraceful behavior can darken the way we view a person. Suddenly, every word, every action they take feels tainted by that initial judgment. In this way, we become prisoners of our first impressions, unable to break free from the glow or the shadow that the halo effect has cast upon us. But in understanding this effect, something beautiful happens. You begin to realize that you can harness the power of first impressions to your advantage. Think about it. If a simple trait, like a smile, a confident posture, or a warm tone of voice, can leave a lasting positive impression, then why not use it to shape how others perceive you? The halo effect isn't something to fear or fight against. It's something you can lean into, use as a tool to build connections and influence those around you. When you walk into a room, the energy you project is the first thing people will pick up on. A smile, even if brief, sends out a signal of warmth and openness. It's as though you're inviting them into your world without even saying a word. A firm yet relaxed posture tells them you are confident but not overbearing. It signals that you are at ease with yourself, and in return, others will feel at ease around you. These simple gestures create an immediate sense of comfort, making others more likely to view you favorably and to interpret your actions more positively. There's an old saying that goes, "You never get a second chance to make a first impression," and it holds more truth than most realize. The halo effect reveals how incredibly important that first moment is. The way you present yourself to others doesn't just affect how they see you in that brief moment. It can shape their perception of you for a long time afterward. This is why it's so important to be mindful of those first moments, to allow your energy and presence to shine in a way that leaves a lasting positive mark. Now think about how this principle applies in the world of social interaction. If you're about to meet someone new, or even step into a new situation, your first impression will ripple outward. What if you were to consciously decide to greet others with openness, to exude warmth with every gesture, to stand tall and yet relaxed, and to speak with genuine interest in what they have to say? You would be setting up a powerful halo effect around you, one that paints you as confident, approachable, and capable, whether you realize it or not. Of course, this isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about embracing the best parts of who you are and letting them shine. The halo effect works when your authentic energy aligns with the initial impression you wish to make. When you feel confident in yourself and your abilities, others naturally pick up on that confidence. It's a ripple effect that flows out from that first moment, building trust and respect in ways you may not even fully realize. There's an undeniable charm in this natural process. The way we all gravitate toward people who make us feel good, who radiate positivity, can seem almost effortless. But beneath the surface, it's the halo effect working its magic. When we meet someone and are immediately drawn to them, it's often because they've left that initial impression, a halo that wraps around them and makes us want to know more, to trust them, to connect. But just as easily, if that first impression isn't as favorable, the opposite happens. That same effect works in reverse. One negative moment, a harsh word, an awkward glance, can cast a shadow that's hard to shake off. The person might be kind, thoughtful, and intelligent, but if that first impression is clouded with something negative, it may take time, even years to change that perception. That's the tricky part of the halo effect. Once it's in motion, it's not always easy to change course. But recognizing this pattern gives you the power to shift it when needed. Think for a moment about your daily life. When you walk into a room, whether it's a job interview, a meeting, or a casual encounter, your presence speaks volumes before you even say a word. Your body language, the way you carry yourself, the energy you bring into the space, it all affects how others perceive you. And it's not just about making a positive impression, it's about using that initial moment to create a foundation for trust and connection that can last far beyond the first meeting. Now imagine this same principle working for you in every interaction. The next time you meet someone new, think about the message you want to convey with your presence. How can you make them feel comfortable and respected? How can you let your natural charisma shine through so they feel an instant connection with you? The halo effect allows you to build a bridge between you and others before you even begin to speak. The beauty of the halo effect is that it's subtle. It doesn't require grand gestures or forced efforts. A simple, authentic smile can set off the chain reaction that shapes the way others view you. A moment of warmth, a gesture of kindness, and the way you make someone feel at ease. All of these things work together to create the halo around you. It's like casting a gentle glow that others can't help but notice and be drawn toward. And here's the secret. You can use this knowledge not only for your own benefit, but also to make others feel better about themselves. When you give someone a warm and positive first impression, when you make them feel like they matter, you're not just using the halo effect to influence how they see you. You're using it to elevate them, to make them feel seen, heard, and valued. And when people feel that, they're more likely to return that energy back to you, creating a positive cycle of connection. In every interaction, you hold the power to create an environment where the halo effect works for you. By understanding how deeply first impressions shape our judgments, you can begin to consciously craft the way you present yourself to the world. Whether you're meeting a new friend, engaging in a business negotiation, or simply connecting with a stranger, your ability to make that first moment count will carry you further than you might realize. As you drift off into the quiet, think about the subtle yet profound effect you can have on those around you by simply being present, being authentic, and allowing your natural light to shine. The halo effect is always at play, and with it, you can create a lasting impression that resonates long after the first moment has passed. Cognitive dissonance. How people justify their actions and beliefs, and how this can be used to change behaviors. There's a hidden force within each of us that gently, almost silently, guides our thoughts and actions. It's something we all experience, yet we rarely recognize it for what it truly is. This quiet, internal tension we feel when our actions don't align with our beliefs is known as cognitive dissonance. It's the feeling of discomfort, a subtle knot that forms in our minds when something we do doesn't match up with how we see ourselves or what we believe to be true. Imagine for a moment that you're holding two conflicting ideas in your mind at the same time. One part of you believes in doing the right thing, while another part might be justifying an action that doesn't fit that standard. This tension, the clash between your actions and your beliefs, is the essence of cognitive dissonance, and it's a force that shapes the way we think, act, and justify what we do in life. Think of the last time you did something that didn't quite sit right with you. Maybe you ate that extra piece of cake when you promised yourself you wouldn't, or you procrastinated on a project you really wanted to finish. At the moment of doing it, there's often a whisper in the back of your mind, an awareness that this action doesn't line up with your better judgment. Yet, as time passes, something happens. The discomfort begins to fade. You might start telling yourself that it wasn't so bad after all. Perhaps you justify the action by saying, "I deserved it," or "I'll do better tomorrow." This process of reducing the discomfort, of reconciling conflicting ideas, is the brain's way of restoring harmony. The moment you justify your actions, the dissonance fades, and you return to a state of equilibrium. Cognitive dissonance is a natural, almost automatic response to internal conflict. It's a psychological mechanism designed to protect us from the discomfort of holding contradictory thoughts. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. We are not only the subjects of this force, we can also use it to our advantage. By understanding how cognitive dissonance works, we gain insight into the powerful ways we can influence our own behaviors, and even change the behaviors of others. After all, if we know how people justify their actions, we can learn how to guide that justification in ways that encourage positive change. Imagine, for a moment, that you've made a decision you feel conflicted about. Perhaps you've promised yourself to stop procrastinating or to exercise more. The tension between your intention and your action creates dissonance. But here's the magic: the brain is wired to reduce that dissonance. If you can gently guide someone to justify the positive action they've taken, even a small step, it becomes much easier for them to continue that behavior. In the same way that people justify bad habits, they can also justify positive ones. It's all about leading them to the point where their beliefs about themselves and their actions align. Consider this: when someone who doesn't normally exercise goes for a walk, they might feel the dissonance between what they believe about health and the effort it takes to move their body. But if you help them justify the action by framing it as a small, manageable step, or by reminding them of how good it feels afterward, they'll start to feel more aligned with their new habit. The brain will work its magic, and suddenly, they're no longer someone who doesn't exercise, they're someone who occasionally goes for a walk. The dissonance between their beliefs and actions starts to dissolve, and they're more likely to continue on the path of positive change. On a larger scale, cognitive dissonance can be used to shift entire belief systems. People don't like feeling that discomfort, that internal conflict, so they'll often change their behavior or beliefs to resolve it. This is why persuasive messages often appeal to emotions and reasoning at the same time, nudging people toward behaviors that feel more in line with their values. When you can help someone see how their actions are in harmony with their beliefs, the change becomes effortless. It's as if the brain quietly rewires itself, aligning the two previously conflicting ideas. What's truly extraordinary is how much cognitive dissonance influences the way we perceive the world around us. It's not just about changing behaviors, but about how we interpret the events of our lives. Think of a time when you've been faced with a difficult decision. The weight of the choice itself creates dissonance. But once the decision is made, something magical happens. The discomfort fades, and you begin to see the choice in a more positive light. You might find reasons to justify your decision, making it seem like the best option all along. This is the mind's way of protecting itself from regret, from guilt. It smooths over the rough edges, allowing you to move forward without the weight of dissonance dragging you down. As you lie back, feeling the weight of the day slip away, think about how this process works in your own life. Every time you've made a decision, especially one that's been difficult, you've probably felt the discomfort of cognitive dissonance. Yet in each case, you've also found a way to justify your actions. The brain does this naturally, almost instinctively, guiding you toward a state of peace, even when the path to that peace has been uncertain. The more aware you become of this process, the more you can use it to shift your behaviors, to guide yourself toward positive changes, without the struggle. This process isn't limited to just small daily decisions. It extends to larger shifts in lifestyle, health, and mindset. When you find yourself making a choice that feels conflicting, that internal tension can be used to propel you forward. For instance, if you're trying to develop a healthier relationship with food, you might initially feel the dissonance between your desire for a treat and your goal of eating well. But as you make healthier choices and begin to justify them, perhaps by reminding yourself of the long-term benefits, or how good you feel after eating clean, the dissonance lessens. You begin to associate healthy choices with your self-image. Your mind becomes aligned with the new behaviors, and those behaviors become automatic. Think of cognitive dissonance as a guide, an internal compass that nudges you toward your ideal self. It's always present, quietly shaping the way you think and act. It's a constant process, one that you can learn to recognize and use to your benefit. The more you understand how dissonance operates, the more you can navigate your life with purpose, guiding your thoughts and actions toward the goals that matter most to you. In a way, cognitive dissonance is a mirror of growth. It reveals to you the places where your beliefs and actions don't quite match up, offering you the opportunity to bring them into alignment. Every time you feel that tension, you are being shown the way forward, It's as if your mind is gently reminding you that change is possible, that you have the ability to shift your behaviors and beliefs in a way that brings you closer to the person you want to be. With every breath you take, imagine this process unfolding naturally within you. Each small step you take toward positive change creates a sense of harmony within your mind. The tension you once felt fades, replaced by a quiet certainty that the changes you've made are the right ones for you. You begin to see the benefits of your efforts, not just in the actions themselves, but in the way they align with your values, your desires, and the person you are becoming. And as you drift deeper into relaxation, think about how this knowledge of cognitive dissonance can help you. Whether you're working toward a personal goal, trying to adopt a new habit, or simply seeking to understand yourself better, this quiet process is always at work, nudging you toward the changes you desire. The key is to embrace it, to recognize the subtle shifts within yourself, and to allow them to guide you gently toward the person you are meant to be. The power of visualization, how imagining success can lead to actual achievements. Visualization is like a quiet whisper from within, gently guiding your thoughts toward the dreams and goals you desire. It's not something you need to force, but rather a skill you can learn to master, a way of creating vivid mental images that lead you to success. Imagine, for a moment, a place where your deepest desires are already fulfilled. It feels peaceful, serene, and full of promise. This is the space where visualization starts. It's the place where your mind begins to see, feel, and believe in the success you are working towards. And as you drift into relaxation, think about how, with every passing moment, this ability to imagine success can become a natural part of your being. Think about the first time you visualized something in your life, maybe a place you wanted to visit, a goal you hoped to achieve, or even just the simple feeling of joy that comes from a day well spent. Visualization doesn't need to be dramatic or grand. It can begin with something small, something that seems like a dream on the horizon. But as you practice, as you immerse yourself in the feeling of that future success, the world around you begins to shift. The power of visualization is in its ability to alter your mindset, to align your thoughts with the reality you want to create. As you let go of the tension in your body and close your eyes, begin to see that vision clearly. Feel it as if it's already happening, as if you've already achieved everything you've dreamed of. This feeling, this clarity, is the beginning of the path forward. Now think about the science behind it, the way your brain responds to the images you create in your mind. When you visualize, you activate the same neural pathways as when you actually experience something. The brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. So in a way, when you visualize success, you are preparing your mind and body for the experience as though it has already occurred. This is why athletes, performers, and successful individuals use visualization as a tool. They know that when they can clearly see their success in their mind's eye, they are already laying the groundwork for their physical actions to follow. It's a quiet rehearsal, a mental practice that translates into real-world results. As you allow your mind to relax deeper, imagine your future self, someone who has already achieved the goals you desire. See them standing confidently in the world they've created, feeling proud, calm, and fulfilled. With each breath, feel the essence of that version of yourself, moving closer to your present reality. This future self is not some distant idea, it's a part of you waiting to be realized. And as you imagine them in vivid detail, you begin to feel the energy of that success merging with your present moment. The power of visualization lies in its ability to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. By focusing your attention on this ideal version of yourself, you begin to draw that success toward you, slowly but surely. You can also imagine the steps it took to get there, the effort, the perseverance, the learning along the way. As you do this, notice how it feels. Does it feel smooth, effortless, or perhaps even exhilarating? Visualization works best when it's felt deeply, not just seen. Imagine yourself walking through the journey, step by step, knowing that each action you take brings you closer to the version of yourself you're imagining. With each breath, let yourself experience the joy and satisfaction of accomplishment. Feel the pride in knowing that you are already on your way. As you continue to visualize, think about how this practice influences your emotions. The more you see your goals coming to life, the more you can cultivate feelings of gratitude, confidence, and excitement. Your mind, body, and emotions become synchronized. And before long, you'll find that your actions are guided by the same energy you've been nurturing in your visualizations. The secret to this is simple: what you focus on grows. When you direct your energy toward success, even if it's just in your mind at first, you are planting the seeds for that success to grow in the real world. Your subconscious mind starts working on your behalf, helping you find opportunities, overcome obstacles, and make decisions that align with your goals. Take a moment to imagine a situation in your life where you want success. It could be something personal, professional, or emotional. Now visualize the end result, but don't stop there. Go deeper. Imagine the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment you would feel. Feel it in your heart, in your body. Let that feeling of success wash over you. Notice how it feels. Does it bring warmth? Does it bring peace? Feel every detail of this success as if it's unfolding right now. As you hold that image in your mind, you're not just visualizing an outcome, you're setting the stage for it to become a reality. Now begin to notice how this visualization impacts your physical body. As you focus on your success, take a deep breath and feel your muscles relax. Let go of any tension you might be holding. Feel your body becoming lighter with each breath, as if your future success is already lifting you to new heights. The more relaxed you become, the easier it is for you to embrace the success you're visualizing. The more at peace you feel with the outcome, the more your mind is able to work on ways to achieve it. And with each passing moment, the path to success becomes clearer and more inviting. As you lie there, completely relaxed, notice how your visualizations begin to feel more real, more tangible. It's as if you can taste the success, feel the weight of accomplishment, and breathe in the air of achievement. Visualization isn't just a mental practice, it's an emotional and physical one as well. You're engaging every part of yourself in the process of becoming the person who has achieved what you desire. And as you do this, your subconscious mind begins to reprogram itself to align with those new beliefs, those new goals. It becomes easier to take action, to make decisions, and to move forward with confidence. Visualization has a ripple effect. The more you practice seeing your success, the more it seeps into your daily life. You start to notice subtle changes in your thoughts, your actions, and your interactions with others. Opportunities appear where there once were none. Ideas come to you in the most unexpected moments. Your entire world begins to shift as your mind's eye continues to focus on your goals. The act of visualization doesn't just bring success into your mind, it starts to bring success into your reality. Now allow your mind to focus on the feeling of gratitude for all the success that is already on its way. Feel the calmness of knowing that the universe is aligned with your dreams. The more you appreciate the success that's already manifesting, the more that energy flows toward you. Feel it fill you with warmth and relaxation, allowing you to float effortlessly deeper into a peaceful sleep. The power of visualization is always working, even when you're resting. As you drift off, trust that every moment you spend visualizing success is bringing you closer to the life you desire. In your mind, continue to see your future unfolding in the most beautiful ways. Imagine it as a path that's already paved, the steps waiting for you to take. Feel the confidence, the peace, and the excitement in knowing that every breath you take is bringing you closer to the fulfillment of your dreams. With each breath, feel more aligned with your future success. As you let go and sink deeper into relaxation, trust that your mind is working in harmony with your visualizations, guiding you toward the future you've always imagined. The reciprocity principle: how giving something small can make others feel obligated to return the favor. The reciprocity principle is a subtle, almost invisible force that shapes much of human interaction, and when you begin to understand it, you realize how deeply connected we all are. Imagine for a moment giving a simple gift, a small gesture. It could be as simple as a smile, a kind word, or holding the door for someone. Now, imagine the warmth that follows from such an act, the natural inclination of the other person to want to return the favor. You see, The principle of reciprocity is an ancient and deeply ingrained part of human nature, a silent contract that binds us together in subtle but powerful ways. And as you relax deeper into this moment, let your mind wander through the vast web of connections that exist because of this principle. Feel how the energy of giving flows freely, effortlessly, creating a natural cycle that moves through the hearts of people. In the soft quiet of your mind, begin to envision yourself as the giver. You don't need to give anything grand or monumental, just a small act of kindness. Notice how this simple action ripples outward, touching lives in ways you might not even fully comprehend. Maybe you offer your seat to someone on the bus, or help a friend with a small task. These seemingly minor gestures don't demand anything in return, but somehow they create a feeling of connection. The recipient might not acknowledge it at first, but deep inside, there is a pull, a subtle desire to return the favor. The power of reciprocity lies not in the magnitude of what is given, but in the natural human instinct to reciprocate, to balance the scales. As you feel your body relax and your mind drift into a peaceful, restful state, allow yourself to absorb the beauty of this unspoken law of nature. As you sink deeper into your thoughts, think about the times when you've experienced this principle in your own life. Maybe someone has offered you help when you least expected it, or perhaps a stranger smiled at you on a rough day. There's a warmth that follows these actions, a feeling of being connected to another person, of not being alone in the world. And perhaps, without realizing it, you found yourself wanting to return the favor, even if in a small way. The reciprocity principle doesn't require us to make grand gestures. Instead, it thrives in the quiet moments of exchange, in the subtle give and take of human interaction. As you let these memories wash over you, feel how they anchor you in the present moment, making you feel connected, grounded, and at peace. Now, as you feel more and more relaxed, think about the energy that giving creates. When you give, even in small ways, you open the door for a flow of positive energy to pass through you. It's as if you become a conduit for goodwill, passing on kindness, warmth, and understanding. The act of giving is not just about what you offer, but about the energy you send out into the world. That energy always comes back to you, sometimes in ways you least expect. As you sink deeper into this understanding, let the thought of giving fill you with a sense of calm and comfort, knowing that the world, in its own quiet way, is always balancing out the exchanges you make. Now, imagine the people around you, friends, family, even strangers, who may have been touched by your small acts of kindness. Picture the gentle smile of someone who has received your gesture. Maybe it was something as simple as sharing a compliment or offering assistance. These small actions create ripples, and in return, the universe has a way of sending positive energy back toward you. Feel the warmth of that energy as it settles around you, as if you are enveloped in a cocoon of goodwill, love, and connection. And as you relax further into the comfort of this thought, trust that your actions are already creating a positive influence, even when you may not be aware of it. The reciprocity principle is always at work, quietly shaping the connections between people, just as it is quietly shaping your life. At this moment, let go of any tension you might be holding onto, and imagine yourself in a peaceful place, a place where your acts of kindness flow effortlessly and naturally. You don't need to exert any force or expectation. Just imagine yourself giving freely, without hesitation. Maybe you're helping someone carry a heavy bag, or perhaps you're simply listening to a friend who needs someone to talk to. Feel the ease with which you give, the naturalness of it. You're not expecting anything in return, but you know that the universe operates on this principle of reciprocity. Every time you give, the world gives back to you in its own way, in its own time. This feeling, this gentle flow of energy, is the essence of the reciprocity principle. It's a soothing, nurturing force that allows you to relax, knowing that everything is balanced. Think about how, as you give, you also create space for others to feel a sense of connection and obligation. But this obligation isn't burdensome. It's a beautiful part of the human experience. It's the understanding that when someone does something nice for us, we feel a natural desire to return the kindness. It's not a forceful feeling, but a gentle pull toward mutual respect and generosity. You can feel it in the way people's faces light up when they realize they've been given something, a small gesture, a word of encouragement, a simple moment of attention. This feeling of connection creates a harmonious exchange where both parties benefit, even if it's just in the warmth of the moment. Imagine how this plays out in your life, in the lives of those around you. Visualize the exchange of kindness that you've experienced or shared. Feel the depth of connection between you and others, and let that feeling settle deeply in your heart. As you allow your body to relax even further, picture yourself as part of a greater web of kindness and reciprocity, each thread connecting you to another person, each moment of giving, creating a ripple that touches more and more lives. The power of giving is so gentle, so profound, that it reaches beyond what we can see or touch. And as you allow this understanding to fill you, feel the peace that comes with knowing that your small acts of kindness are shaping a world full of love and connection. With each passing breath, feel your body relaxing more deeply, releasing any tension or worry. As you focus on the idea of giving, let your thoughts wander to a place of peace. In this place, you don't need to worry about what you receive in return. The reciprocity principle works on its own, flowing naturally, without effort. Trust that every small act of kindness you share will find its way back to you. Feel the lightness in your chest as you breathe in the warmth of this truth, knowing that you are part of something larger, something beautiful. The energy you send out is always returning to you, bringing back kindness, love and connection in ways you might never expect, but always need. And now, as you prepare to let go and drift into a deep and restful sleep, know that the world around you is full of quiet exchanges, small acts of kindness, words of encouragement, and gestures of goodwill. The reciprocity principle is always working, silently shaping the connections between you and others. As you relax deeper and deeper, feel how your giving nature has created a gentle flow of positivity around you, connecting you to a larger, peaceful rhythm. Allow yourself to let go of any remaining thoughts, knowing that you have already set the stage for more kindness to flow toward you, and that with each breath, you're deeply aligned with the universal law of giving and receiving. Let go of all tension, all thoughts, as you fall deeper into relaxation. Know that as you sleep, the reciprocity principle continues to work in your favor, guiding your connections and your experiences. And with that peaceful knowledge, you can rest, knowing that each day, each small act of kindness, creates ripples that make the world a little brighter, a little more connected, and a lot more peaceful. The art of mirroring, how copying someone's body language can help you build rapport and influence. Imagine, just for a moment, that you are standing across from someone. You don't need to say anything, yet somehow, without even realizing it, you start to mimic their posture. You mirror the way they sit, the angle at which they hold their arms, or the rhythm of their speech. It's a subtle act, almost unconscious, but the effect is powerful. As you slip deeper into this thought, feel the soft, smooth connection that forms between you and this person, a connection so natural, so effortless, that you can almost sense the energy between you. This is the power of mirroring, the art of mimicking another's body language in such a way that it builds instant rapport, trust, and influence. Mirroring is more than just copying someone's movements. It's an unspoken dance of understanding. The more you do it, the more you become aware of the invisible threads that connect you to the person across from you. Your body intuitively echoes their movements, not to mock or imitate, but to create harmony, to create a feeling of being in sync. Imagine how, in that moment, as you mirror their actions, the air around you shifts, and the space between you and them feels warmer, more intimate, and more understanding. As your breath deepens, you begin to realize how much of our communication happens beyond words, in the quiet, subtle exchanges that form the foundation of all relationships. Now imagine you are seated in a room with someone, and without thinking, you begin to copy their body language. Perhaps they lean forward, and you follow, gently mirroring their posture. As they cross their arms, you do the same, not in an obvious way, but subtly, almost naturally. This mirroring isn't about mimicking to gain an advantage. It's about creating a sense of comfort, of being in tune with the other person. The more you mirror them, the more they feel understood, validated, and respected. And as you drift deeper into relaxation, you realize that this simple act of mirroring can turn a cold conversation into a warm, connected exchange, where both parties feel seen and heard. As you continue to relax, think about how mirroring works beneath the surface. It's a subconscious tool, one that doesn't require you to think or plan your actions. It's as if your body naturally understands the rhythm of the person in front of you, and without any effort, your movements start to align with theirs. This natural alignment creates a feeling of similarity, a sense that you are connected in ways that go beyond the words you speak. The more you mirror, the more the space between you shrinks. There is no barrier of distance, no gap in understanding. It's as if the two of you are moving in harmony, each person's body language echoing the other's in perfect synchrony. Picture yourself in a room with someone, maybe in a casual conversation or an important meeting. As the conversation flows, you notice how their posture changes, how they use their hands to emphasize their points. As you relax deeper, you begin to mirror those movements, gently and naturally, without thinking. The beauty of this process lies in its subtlety. The more you mirror, the more this person feels comfortable around you, as if you were intuitively understanding them. They may not even realize that you are doing it, but on a deeper level, their mind picks up on the connection you are creating. This is where the magic happens. Through simple gestures, the space between two people becomes filled with trust, mutual understanding, and the unspoken knowledge that you are in sync. Think now about how mirroring is used to build rapport. In a quiet moment, perhaps in a social setting, you begin to mirror someone's body language without even thinking about it. You mimic the way they lean back or forward, the subtle tilts of their head. The more you do this, the more the other person feels comfortable, as if they have known you for years. There is a deep, almost instinctual comfort in being around someone who mirrors you. It creates a sense of familiarity and connection that goes beyond the surface level. Imagine how you can shift the energy in any room just by subtly mirroring the actions of the person you are speaking to. You start to realize that influence doesn't always require words or persuasion. Sometimes, it's as simple as being in tune with someone on a deeper, more instinctive level. As you sink deeper into relaxation, let yourself feel the ease with which mirroring can create influence. It's not about control or manipulation. Instead, it's about creating an environment where both people feel seen, valued, and understood. You don't have to do anything elaborate, just follow their lead in small ways. Maybe it's a gentle nod when they speak, or a small shift in posture when they adjust. These small natural gestures are enough to create a subtle but powerful connection, a connection that builds over time, layer by layer, making you appear not just present, but attuned to the person across from you. The beauty of mirroring is that it feels effortless, like breathing. And as you drift deeper into relaxation, you feel how easy it is to become part of this unspoken dance, this flow of energy between two people. Visualize yourself in a scenario where you need to connect with someone, perhaps a colleague or a new acquaintance. As you focus on their movements, you begin to mirror them gently. You follow the rise and fall of their body, the cadence of their voice. With each shift, each movement, you build a bridge of rapport, a bridge that allows the conversation to flow effortlessly. There's no need to force anything. The more you simply allow yourself to follow their lead, the more naturally the connection develops. Feel the sense of calm that this brings, knowing that through this simple technique, you can foster deeper, more meaningful connections with those around you. Now imagine a situation where you've successfully built rapport through mirroring. You're in a meeting, or perhaps in a conversation with someone you admire, and without even trying, you start to mirror their posture and gestures. This small act, so subtle and so quiet, allows the conversation to flow effortlessly. There is no tension, no awkwardness, just a smooth, natural rhythm between you both. As you relax even further, feel the satisfaction that comes with knowing you've created an environment of understanding and trust. This is the power of mirroring to influence, to connect, and to create relationships that are based on unspoken understanding. Think of the power of body language itself, the way a slight shift in posture can change the entire dynamic of a conversation. When you mirror someone's body language, you tap into an almost invisible stream of communication. It's a silent dialogue that speaks louder than words. As you continue to relax, feel the depth of this silent communication, how it shapes your interactions, how it opens the door to influence and understanding. Imagine how every gesture you make, every movement you mirror, is like a thread weaving a deeper connection between you and the other person. And as you feel yourself drifting deeper into this understanding, allow the quiet power of mirroring to guide you. Know that in any conversation, you have the ability to create rapport, to influence, and to connect simply by being aware of the body language around you. It's a tool, subtle yet powerful, that allows you to navigate social situations with ease. The more you practice, the more you become attuned to the rhythm of others. You begin to understand the subtle cues, the unspoken language that flows between you and the people you meet. As you relax, think about how this practice can create harmony in your life. Each time you mirror, you build a bridge, one small gesture at a time, one connection at a time. The world around you becomes filled with understanding, and the people you meet feel an unconscious pull toward you. You don't have to work hard at it. Just by aligning yourself with the body language of others, you open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections. And as you let these thoughts wash over you, feel the calm that comes with understanding this art. The power of mirroring is not in force or manipulation, but in its quiet, natural ability to create rapport and influence. You are in control, not by forcing anything, but by allowing yourself to move in harmony with the world around you. The power of repetition, how repeating certain phrases or ideas can make them more persuasive. As you settle deeper into your thoughts, you begin to notice the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. The world around you fades, and you find yourself surrounded by an endless flow of thoughts. Amidst the gentle ebb and flow of your mind, a simple idea begins to emerge, a small, subtle phrase, like a whisper in the wind. The power of repetition. You start to notice how, when something is repeated over and over, it gains weight, it takes root in your consciousness. Each time you hear it, it feels a little more familiar, a little more true. Repetition has this uncanny ability to make ideas feel undeniable, as though they were always meant to be. The more you think about this, the more you realize how deeply ingrained this principle is in your daily life. Ideas that are repeated often enough begin to settle into your mind, like a seed in fertile soil, growing slowly and steadily until they can no longer be ignored. Repetition doesn't just make ideas familiar, it also makes them more persuasive. The more something is repeated, the more it becomes associated with truth, with certainty. You may have noticed this in your own life, the way a simple phrase repeated just enough times begins to feel like an undeniable truth. It's like a soft whisper, slowly weaving its way into your understanding until it feels like it's always been there. The idea of repetition is simple, yet powerful. The more something is repeated, the more it becomes a part of your reality. And as you drift further into relaxation, allow yourself to reflect on how this subtle principle works, not just in your mind, but in the world around you as well. Think about the messages you hear every day, whether it's a catchy slogan, a phrase from a song, or a word spoken by someone close to you. Repetition has a way of seeping into your mind, becoming a part of your inner narrative. You may not even notice it at first, but as the words repeat themselves, they begin to resonate more deeply, shaping the way you think, feel, and even act. Each repetition adds weight to the idea, reinforcing it until it feels undeniable. The more you repeat a phrase or an idea, the more it seems to grow in importance, in influence. It's as if the repetition makes the idea stronger, more powerful, until it becomes impossible to dismiss. Now, as you allow yourself to relax even further, think about how this power of repetition can influence not just your own thoughts, but the thoughts of others as well. Imagine for a moment that you are trying to persuade someone, to make them believe in something. What is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal? It's repetition. By repeating a certain phrase, an idea, or even a simple word, you begin to shape their perception, just as a steady stream of water shapes the land over time. Each repetition deepens the idea, making it feel more natural, more believable. It's like a gentle wave that softens the rough edges of doubt, until only the smooth, undeniable truth remains. Repetition also works on a subconscious level. You may not always be aware of it, but when something is repeated enough times, it begins to influence your thoughts and behaviors in ways that you can't fully control. It's as if your mind starts to accept the repeated idea as a fact, without needing to question it. And as you relax further, imagine how this works in your life, how you have internalized certain ideas simply through repetition. Perhaps you've repeated positive affirmations to yourself, and over time, those affirmations have become part of your belief system, shaping the way you see yourself and the world around you. Or perhaps you've heard a certain piece of advice, or a guiding principle so many times that it's now woven into the fabric of your thoughts, no longer requiring effort to believe or accept. As you drift deeper into relaxation, think about how repetition is used in everyday life to persuade and influence. Consider the advertisements you see on TV, the catchy jingles that stick in your mind, or the powerful slogans that echo in your thoughts long after you've heard them. These repeated messages, whether consciously or unconsciously, shape your choices, your beliefs, and even your actions. The more something is repeated, the more it becomes a part of your reality, like a soft current guiding you gently along a river. Each repetition is like a small nudge, pushing you in a direction, molding your thoughts, without you even realizing it. Now, feel the power of this principle in your own life. Think about the beliefs you hold, the values that guide your decisions. Many of them have been shaped by the constant repetition of ideas, whether from your family, your community, or the media. These ideas have been reinforced over time, slowly becoming part of your worldview. You may not always notice it, but repetition has played a role in shaping who you are, in guiding the choices you make, and the way you see the world. As you sink deeper into this understanding, allow yourself to embrace the subtle power of repetition, knowing that it is always at work in your life, shaping your thoughts and beliefs in quiet, unseen ways. Consider how repetition also works in the process of learning. Think about a time when you were learning something new, perhaps a language, a skill, or a concept. The more you repeated the process, the more familiar it became, until it no longer felt foreign or difficult. Repetition in this context is like a key that unlocks the door to mastery. Each repetition makes the process smoother, easier, until you can do it without thinking. The same is true for ideas and beliefs. The more you repeat something, the more it becomes ingrained in your mind, until it becomes second nature. Feel how the power of repetition has helped you grow, helped you understand new concepts, and helped shape the way you see the world. Now, as you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine how repetition can be used to influence not just your own thoughts, but the thoughts of others. Picture yourself in a conversation, or perhaps in a situation where you want to persuade someone. You know that the power of repetition is on your side. By repeating a phrase or an idea just enough times, you begin to shape their perception. The more you repeat it, the more it becomes a part of their own belief system, until it feels like a natural, undeniable truth. This subtle influence is powerful, and as you continue to relax, feel the calm confidence that comes from knowing how effective repetition can be in shaping the thoughts and behaviors of those around you. As you sink even deeper into this peaceful state, reflect on the way repetition can be used to reinforce positive habits and behaviors. Perhaps you have used repetition to develop a routine, or to adopt a new mindset. Over time, through consistent repetition, you have created lasting changes in your life, and these changes have become second nature. Just as repetition can help instill new beliefs, it can also help break old ones, gently replacing negative thought patterns with more empowering, positive ones. Feel how this process of repetition is working quietly in the background of your mind, creating positive shifts that help you grow, evolve, and thrive. Now, imagine yourself waking up tomorrow with a new perspective, one shaped by the power of repetition. You have internalized the ideas and beliefs that you want to carry with you, and they are now a part of who you are. You don't need to force them, they come naturally, effortlessly. Because they have been repeated so many times, that they have become woven into the very fabric of your mind. Feel the sense of peace and clarity that comes with knowing the subtle, powerful influence of repetition, knowing that every thought, every belief, and every action is shaped by this quiet, persistent force. As you continue to relax, let yourself become aware of how repetition is always at work in your life. It is the steady, rhythmic force that guides your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. Every repetition brings you closer to understanding, to mastery, and to the realization that the ideas you choose to repeat will shape your reality. And as you sink further into relaxation, know that this power of repetition is not something you need to control. It's simply something you can tap into, allowing it to guide you gently toward the life you want to create.